And we start with breaking news. We are following crews as they battle a large fire in Mesa. This neighborhood, believed to be started by a barbecue grill fire that extended to the home. Take a look at this video here. And this is from our Arizona's Family drone over the scene near University Drive and Greenfield Road. Mesa Fire telling us the 911 caller says she was evacuating with her dog. We do not know if anyone was hurt. We will, of course, keep you updated on air and online as new details come into our newsroom. And for now, we want you to avoid this area as firefighters remain on the scene so they can do their work there. Good afternoon.
Tonight at 5 o'clock, several firefighters were hurt during a house fire in Mesa when the roof collapsed with them inside.
It started as a barbecue fire on the patio, but it quickly spread. Fox 10's Lindsay Regis is on the scene in Mesa with what we know so far. Lindsay.
Mark and Ellen, 10 firefighters were inside when that roof collapsed. Now, they were able to make it out okay going through a window. They are expected to be okay. Take a look at this Sky Fox video. Just a lot of flames you see there. Crews were battling the fire using a ladder truck. There you see a chunk of the roof in the middle collapse. The Mesa Fire Department tells us when crews got there, they were able to put out the patio fire, but the flames spread to the house and in the attic. That's when more crews were called in to put out the fire. Nobody was hurt besides the firefighters who were briefly trapped inside. Now, they were all looked at in the rehab center where their vitals were taken. There were also fans with misters to keep them cool, as well as buckets of ice and water. Nobody had to be taken to the hospital.
So we did have all of our crews accounted for. There were a couple of crew members that had minor burns. We also had one with a back injury, all minor. No one at this point that I know of has been transported. Everybody is being evaluated and cared for on the scene.
We know the homeowner and her dog were able to make it out safely, and luckily the fire did not spread to other homes. Reporting live, Lindsay Regis, Fox 10 News.
Lindsay, thank
Mesa, where several firefighters are recovering this morning after a really scary scene. They were trapped inside of a house that was on fire last night. The fire crews were inside a home near Greenfield and University when that roof partially collapsed over them.
Yeah, I mean, fire crews, this is one of the worst things you can have happen out there, just worried about your teammate, right? So 12 News journalist Gabriela Becerra, she ended up speaking with one of those firefighters after they made it out.
Well, the fire left this home completely destroyed. Take a look where the roof is supposed to be. Now it's sitting on the floor inside this home. Flames shooting out of the roof of a Mesa home caught firefighters by surprise Monday afternoon.
I've had a fair amount of fire in my career. I've never had one like this.
Mesa Fire Department says this all started as a barbecue fire. The woman who lives here was grilling. She went inside for a moment, and when she returned, the entire patio was on fire. Firefighters successfully put out the barbecue fire, but not before flames extended into the home's attic. 10 firefighters were inside the home where they thought it was safe.
We poked a hole in the ceiling. We applied a lot of water. It didn't seem like we were making any progress.
That's when the roof collapsed, trapping the firefighters and injuring at least 3.
At that point, we made the decision that we had to get out. It was high heat, low visibility, so we broke through the window. I got my firefighters out, and then I followed behind them.
All of the firefighters made it out alive. Neighbors watched as the attack switched defensive.
When I got here, this roof right here was intact. You can see now it isn't.
On top of the challenging fire, crews battled an excessive heat warning. Firefighters were switched out every 20 minutes or so to cool off and check vitals.
There's staging all up and down all these side streets with units that are just waiting to come in and replenish the units that were in the fire attack and rotate around.
The woman who lives here and her dog both made it out without injuries, but her house is now considered a total loss.
She doesn't deserve this.
While we know the fire started in the backyard, investigators will still conduct a full investigation to figure out exactly what happened. In Mesa, Gabriela Becerra, 12 News Today in AZ.
Breaking news here in the Valley in Mesa. 10 firefighters narrowly escaped from a burning home after the tile roof collapsed right on top of them.
We want to get straight to 12 News journalist Gabriela Becerra for the very latest. She's at that home near University and Greenfield. And Gabriela, you spoke to one of those firefighters?
That's right, Tram. Troy, Mesa fire crews are wrapping up what was a chaotic scene just about an hour ago. First, I want to show you the house they've been focusing on. Take a look at the damage. You can see straight through the front window into the backyard and all of that destruction in between. The backyard is where fire says this all started, with a barbecue fire. The woman who lives here was cooking a steak on the grill outside. She went inside for just a moment, and when she came back out, there was a fire. She called 911. The woman and her dog both made it out okay. When firefighters got here, they quickly put out the barbecue fire, but the flames had extended to the attic. They weren't sure how quite extensively the fire had moved, but when they were inside, 10 firefighters happened to be in the home when the roof partially collapsed. We spoke with one of those firefighters. Take a listen to what she had to say.
Visibility inside went from very clear inside to very heavy smoke, very hard to see. So I walked back into the master bedroom. I went over to the window. I opened up the blinds because I figured we were going to have to get out that way. And I just started banging on the window to let crews outside know that's where we were. Luckily, there was a firefighter standing outside. He saw me and heard me. And at that point, we made the decision that we had to get out. It was high heat, low visibility. So we broke through the window. I got my firefighters out, and then I followed behind them.
That firefighter tells us this is unlike anything she's ever experienced in her time as a firefighter before. We know at least 3 firefighters had some sort of injury, but it's unclear if they were taken to the hospital or treated here on scene. As far as this goes, fire crews are just finishing up mopping up the fire and working with the woman who lives here. This house, though, is a total loss. Back to you, Tram and Troy.
In Mesa, where multiple firefighters are injured after getting trapped.
Mesa Fire tells us the roof collapsed while firefighters were working to put out a house fire. 12 News journalist Gabriela Becerra joins us live near University and Greenfield. And Gabby, you actually spoke to one of those firefighters.
That's right. The fire captain, trapped inside for a short period of time, tells me she's been fighting fires for 17 years and has never seen anything quite like this. Take a look behind me. Fire crews were just able to open the garage door and get the woman's car out of the garage. You can also see the roof hanging down. Inside, there's even more damage, leading right outside to the backyard where this whole fire started.
When we first went inside, it was clear. There was really not a lot showing, and then it changes in seconds.
At least 3 Mesa firefighters are injured after a roof partially collapsed during a house fire Monday afternoon. A total of 10 firefighters were inside at the time.
Some of the ceiling fell where we were as well, but it was just such a heavy load in the middle of that house. I think it was just kind of the after effect of that. But yeah, it was very loud. You know something's happening, you're just not sure what.
Mesa Fire Department says this all started as a barbecue fire. The woman who lives here was cooking a steak on the grill outside. She went inside for a moment, and when she came back out, there was a fire. She called 911. The woman and her dog both made it out okay. It's unclear if the injured firefighters were treated on scene or at the hospital. Mesa Fire says they're thankful everyone walked away alive.
And at that point, we made the decision that we had to get out. It was high heat, low visibility, so we broke through the window. I got my firefighters out, and then I followed behind them.
Even though we know this fire started in the backyard, fire investigators will still conduct a full investigation to figure out exactly what happened here. But tonight we know, unfortunately, this house is a total loss. Bay, Troy.
Yeah, and usually firefighters will go defensive on this and get out of a home before they're worried about that structural integrity of the roof and the collapse. So yeah, very fortunate they got out of there.